I'm Dan Brisebois, and this is the Farmer Spreadsheet Academy. Today, we'll be talking about making sure users enter the right stuff into your spreadsheet. In other words, data validation. Over here is a spreadsheet. This was initially presented in Farmer Spreadsheet tip number 9, where we looked at filters, those little triangle things. And we're going to use some of the same data here. So the first couple columns are what you're harvesting. The next column is when you've harvested it. The following columns are where in your field you found these crop, or what block and what bed in the block, and then how much you harvested and what units you measured that harvest in. Monday, May 13th, we harvested 35 kilograms of arugula from bed 3 in block 103. If we scroll down, we can see that on Monday, May 27th, we harvested 56 bunches of carrots from bed 4 of block 102. So this is a record of what was harvested, and a record like this becomes really useful when you add in a report such as this. Here's a report of everything that was harvested in the year. First column is the crops. We're not looking at varieties in this example. And then the next column is the total amount harvested of what units. And the magic of this sheet is the SUMIF formula. And we looked at SUMIF back in the Now Classic Farmer Spreadsheet tip number 4. And we'll come back to the SUMIF in a moment. I'll also highlight that I like to put in red any of the cells that have formulas in them, just to make it clearer for me to know what's automatically updating. Let's get to the problem of the situation. During the season, you want to record what's being harvested. And so we're talking about arugula here. Now, you might have some people that spell it fine, and then other people, they might put in a typo, or they kind of get carried away with some of the letters. Or in our case, we're a bilingual farm where people speak in French and English, and so some of them might write in roquette, which is French for arugula, or maybe rocket, another name that's known for. And then you have speedsters who are trying to cut corners. With these cases, sure, the data seems good, but if you're looking at a formula like this harvest report, before we had 421 kilograms of arugula, but now we just have 258. And this is a problem because of the formula inside it. So let's just zoom in. So this formula, SUMIF, it looks at this column for everything called arugula, adds up this column over here, the quantity. If the word is typed the wrong way, it's not going to work. Here, if we just change these back to arugula and we look over here, it winds up showing 421 kilograms. So this is a problem. And how can you make sure that other people or yourself type this in well? And this is where data validation comes in. So if you take a cell and you right-click on it, at the bottom of the options is data validation. You can also get to this in the menu by clicking on data and data validation there too. So let's right-click data validation, and we get a bunch of choices. Let's choose what range we're going to be validating. So we'll select the data range, and we're going to start in the top, and we'll use our handy shortcuts that we learned from, spreadsheet tip number 8 or so. So I'm pushing in Shift, Command, and down, go to the bottom of the range, and then push it again, and all the way to the bottom of the range. Now I'll push OK. I've selected that. Next, I'm going to click on this criteria drop-down menu, choose list of items. Now I could write arugula. What else is in there? Lettuce, mustard, beets, carrots. Enter. So that's the items we're going to be giving an option of. Click on Show Drop-Down List in a cell. We're going to reject any invalid data, and we'll give a help text. And maybe we'll say, choose crops from list. We'll make it polite, but we'll add an exclamation point for enthusiasm, and we'll save that. Now, if you go back to the beginning, and let's say somebody starts typing in AR, it'll autocomplete and show what's there, so arugula. If somebody tries to write RO for roquette, and it says there's a problem, please choose crops from the list. So you'll only be able to enter the stuff that's in the list. Now, let's say it's an empty field. You can click on the triangle, and it shows you the different options, and you can choose from those. So that's called data validation. Now let's go back to where we found that. So right-click, data validation. Here we chose list of items. There's another more interesting option, list from a range. Let's click on this cell to indicate where the range is, and we'll go to the annual harvest report, double-click, click on there. Okay, so highlight the range, press OK. The data's in there. Everything else stays the same, and we're going to save. When we go to our harvest log, we still see that drop down there. But what's nice about choosing this range is we could add another crop here, such as fennel, celery, cucumbers. And as you add them in, they're going to keep adding up in your range. It's a lot easier to work with that selected range than with the item list. So that was data validation, or how to make sure users enter the right stuff into your spreadsheet. And if any of you have any questions or challenges about farm planning or farm management, and you think a spreadsheet might be the solution, I'd love to get an email or a comment or a direct message about it. Have a great week and happy farming. And thanks for watching.